everybody, I'm Craig McGrother with Lone Star Capital, alongside with Rob Beardsley, the principal and co-founder of the firm here in Dallas. We're at 1001 Ross on the west end of the city in downtown. Want to say anything?
Yeah, it's great to be here. Super excited about our second acquisition in Dallas. So it's great to be here.
Yeah, let's dive into the property and why we're here. So this is our second acquisition in Dallas. The first one, of course, was in Candlelight Park in Duncanville. Now, obviously, a lot different of a area and submarket that we're in currently here.
Yeah, we're in beautiful West End, and this actually is a 2003 vintage property with 204 units sitting on top of about 30,000 square feet of ground floor retail. So different type of asset class. This is a Class A property, mid-rise construction right here in the heart of things, very walkable. So definitely excited about the profile.
Yeah, and it's near the aquarium, the zoo. It's really close to where the Dallas Mavericks play. It's really in the heart of downtown. Plus, it's really close to some extremely exciting developments, which we're obviously thrilled about, which we'll get into, of course.
Yeah, let's talk about that. So that was one of the main things that attracted us to this opportunity. The Goldman Sachs development, which is just right on the other side of the freeway, is bringing in 10,000 finance jobs. So 5,000 of those being Goldman Sachs. And so Goldman is actually reorganizing their presence here in Texas, and they're creating this one big hub with 5,000 employees, which will serve as the second largest campus, and of course being number one being New York. So this will be the largest campus outside of New York for Goldman Sachs.
Incredible, and as you can imagine, of course, we're really in the workforce housing, not really doing the premium A+, like properties, right, for multifamily. So when coming in with 10,000 new jobs to the area, that means there's going to be a ton of service jobs and other ancillary jobs that will service the needs of the area.
Yeah, so this is a new project. It was just announced on April 28th. So it's not going to be completed until 2027, but for us that's perfect timing because we're getting in early, and by the time that we're looking to exit this property, a lot of that value creation and gentrification associated with this development will have played out, and we'll be able to capture that value upon exit, which we're projecting to occur in 5 years.
Excellent, excellent. So how do we land this deal?
Yeah, it's a great question. So we actually were the first buyer to come and tour the asset. We jumped on this deal when we first saw it. It was shared to us by a local broker here in Dallas, and by jumping on it quick and early, we toured the property and we were able to secure a preemptive bid on this asset and shield this property from a competitive bidding environment, which, as you know, in spite of all the kind of the recent market conditions, Dallas remains very competitive. And so we've seen deals go to fully marketed processes with best and finals, and the price gets bid up. And fortunately for us, through a preemptive offer, we were able to secure this deal at a very good basis of around $191,000 per unit and a expense-adjusted 5 cap.
Which is really awesome because, as you just mentioned, getting it preemptive in this marketplace, although there's some turbulence and some speculation that the market's not in the best place right now, we're still seeing in this market 10, 20 offers going through. So the market here is obviously red hot still, despite what's going on with the interest rates and such. In addition to that, can you tell me about when the last buyer bought this? Because that was one thing that stood out to me, is what they paid for the place in 2019, if I'm not mistaken, what we're buying it for.
Yeah, so they paid close to $40 million, and we're under contract for $39,250,000. So we're buying the property for slightly less than what the seller paid for it back in 2019, which kind of speaks to the opportunity here and this quality basis. And then the other reason, just going back to the preemptive bid, the reason why we were able to secure that bid, obviously, of course, is our presence in the market, our reputation, the seller and the broker placing trust in us to execute. But also, I'd say really the main factor was the fact that they have a bridge loan on the property currently that matured in August of 2022. And so they're currently in the extension period, which expires in August. So rather than dealing with the looming maturity on the extension and having to buy a replacement rate cap, they were just seeking a quick sale and a sure thing, right? So that created this opportunity.
And to all the investors and people who are interested in investing in it, this is incredible news for you, where you can get into a place with an awesome basis. I mean, 2019 to now, there's been a huge run, obviously, in the real estate market. So this is awesome for you if you're looking to make an investment into the downtown area here, and specifically in the downtown area of Dallas. So maybe talk about the unit mix and how that works for this deal.
So as we mentioned, we have 204 units here. 68% of those units are one beds, with the remaining being mostly two beds with only 17 three-bedroom units. And so we feel good about that unit mix, given that we're in a more of like a younger downtown environment. So there's a lot of single people living here, enjoying the local amenities, and kind of like a live, work, play environment. So the unit mix is quite strong, with average square footage for the units at 911 square feet. And as we'll later take a look at the model unit, you'll see it's beautifully furnished, well designed, and a great place to live.
And how many units are remodeled? How many units are going to be remodeled?
So the current ownership has renovated 90 units to an elite finish level, with stainless steel appliances, quartz countertops, really all the quality finishes that you'd expect of a 2000s vintage multifamily property.
Right. So this is, obviously a newer build with a thousands grade finish and whatnot, the mid-rise component, as you said, with the retail play as well. What's the business plan on this one? How are we going to create the value that our pro forma suggests?
Yeah, so as mentioned, there's 90 units that are renovated. So the remaining 114 units will be brought up to that premium finish. And so we'll be able to capture rent premiums of around $200 through those renovations. And we're budgeting to approximately spend somewhere around $7,000 per unit on these renovations, which indicates that the classic units, which we'll also show you through the walkthrough, they're in good condition. They just have black appliances, they have soft counters, so they're just dated, but they're in good shape.
Right, and there's definitely some meat on the bone there, which is awesome. And then I think you also mentioned that there's a property nearby, our competition, which makes us feel really great about our business plan, if you want to kind of walk into that as well.
Yeah, so Arrive West End, which is right across the street from us, is a comparable property, but has updated finishes, and that property has $250 higher rents than our pro forma. So basically what I'm saying is today's rents are around $1,600, and we're projecting to take those rents to a little bit less than $1,800, and then their rents over there are still $250 higher than the $1,800. So they're into $2,000. Yeah. So and we feel that through our business plan, we can create a property that is on par, if not superior, to that asset.
And that's before all of the new jobs come to the area, before Goldman Sachs and other companies that move into this area, which is incredible. So that just speaks to the opportunity that we have at hand here, and what gets us really warm and fuzzy about this specific offering, which is great.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, the reason why you buy in a super strong market like Dallas is for that growth, right? And we're right here, right next to that growth opportunity with the 10,000 jobs coming. JP Morgan and Bank of America are already the two largest employers in the MSA, so finance continues to become a larger part of the job market here in Dallas, and I think that'll only continue to grow.
And I was reading an article just specifically about this area and just Dallas as a whole, and if I'm not mistaken, I saw this is the best job growth for finance jobs since the 80s. Is that correct?
That's right. That's right.
Awesome. One thing that you obviously look at when you do the demographics, when you look through, kind of the income and stuff, is what is the area median income, and then also the competition, which is someone buying a home in the area. So can you tell us about the median income and also the median home price in the vicinity?
Yeah, the demographics in this area are very strong. So in a 1 mile radius, according to Yardi, we have over 92,000 median household incomes. So that's very strong. And based on our due diligence, when we came by the property and performed our on-site inspections, lease file audit in particular, we noticed that the amount that residents make relative to the rent is very affordable. So this is quite an affordable property, which means there's room to grow, not only by bringing in new tenants that are capable and willing to pay higher rents, but even the existing tenants have the income to support higher rents. And then also, as you asked, the median home price in the area is $615,000. So that's quite strong, and that creates a pretty big gap between rentership and home ownership.
That's awesome. And when we think about this property, you're always thinking about the competition in the area. So how would you say 1001 Ross compares to the neighboring properties from a competition perspective, and how we can be the premier option for the area?
Yeah, it's a great question. And so the comp story is mostly centered around Arrive, as we discussed, and Arrive is a great comp for us because of those rents that are well above our pro forma, in spite of the fact it's very similar condition and just a similar property in general. However, with that being said, there are properties in the area that are newer vintage and really kind of prove up the upside, both on a rent comp and sales comp basis. So there's sales comps that we have on file that are essentially newer assets, but they're trading in the well over 300,000s per unit range. Even there's a property that's 2006 vintage that it sold for about $330,000 per unit recently. So our basis of $191,000 per unit looks really strong. So even though this is a Class A property, we still are kind of the middle, which is where Lone Star's sweet spot is, right? Because we typically don't like to buy at the top of the market, and we don't want to buy the worst property on the block either, right? We like to be in that affordable middle where there's room to grow, but there's also that affordable cushion.
You mentioned retail. Can you please dive into that?
Yeah, so as we discussed before, there's a little over 30,000 square feet of ground floor retail, which is currently about 50% occupied. So the way we underwrote the deal is to keep the retail flat, so not to assume any improved occupancy on the retail. However, with the gentrification coming from the Goldman Sachs headquarters across the street, we're optimistic that that retail space will improve its occupancy and rents over time. However, like I mentioned, we did not forecast that in our assumptions, so the returns are based on keeping the retail income the same as it is currently. And then, like we discussed, either we'll be able to sell the property, and that will be upside for the future buyer, so they'll pay a higher price, essentially a lower cap rate for that opportunity, or over the course of our ownership, we'll be able to lease up the retail, which will, of course, increase the sale price as well.
And to those who are in the retail space and are experts, obviously when you get into that side, there's a lot of turnover and improvements you have to do. I believe it's called TIs, correct? So can you talk about the reserves we have there to accommodate a new tenant?
That's a very good point. Yeah, so in spite of our conservative forecast of keeping the income flat on retail, we've budgeted nearly $700,000 for TIs. So we're budgeted essentially to roll every single tenant as well as the vacants. So we're budgeted to do tenant improvements or TIs for the vacants. So we're fully prepared and budgeted to lease up those vacant spaces, but we're underwriting to keep them vacant.
Incredible. And then there's another little piece where there's meat on the bone here as well, and that is the parking structure. So we have over 200 parking spots, if I'm not mistaken, and it's also open to the public, is that correct?
Yeah, there's a portion of the garage here that is open to the public, which does provide revenue to the property, and we think there's some optimization there where we can increase revenue.
Now that we've covered the opportunity here, let's tour the units and the amenities that 1001 Ross has to offer. We are here in the model unit. This is a 2-bedroom unit. So we have about 90 units that look like this, and we'll be upgrading the remainder to this finished level. If you look here, you've got incredible quartz countertops. You have the nice appliances here. We have the gunmetal stainless steel refrigerator and microwave and oven and stove. And then if you look here as well, you've got awesome backsplash tiling there. And then you also have great recessed lighting. So there's no track lighting, which is a really elegant look. So we're really excited that these units are getting a great premium, and we're excited to bring the rest of the units up to this level.
We'll also be adding a smart home tech package throughout the community, which includes a smart lock on the front door and a smart thermostat, which enhances the lifestyle here for residents. And we'll also be making sure that every unit has washers and dryers throughout the community.
If you come through with me, I'll show you the bathrooms and also the bedrooms. So here is the common area bathroom that a guest could be using, or the first bedroom is over there. One thing I really love about it is, of course, the tile right here. But in addition to that, you've got matching fixtures in the bathroom as well as the kitchen, which to me personally is always a great look. Now, if you'll follow with me to the second bedroom, you have a nice space here. This is I want to say a queen size bed. It feels very full. And then you got a nice view here, looking at some of the pretty buildings in the local area. The closet right here, which is it's basically a small walk-in closet, which is a nice feature for many renters to have. Come through over here, you've got the primary bedroom within the 2-bedroom. And I have to say, this feels incredibly spacious and luxurious. You've got a sitting area on that side of the room. You've got a king-size bed right here. And if you follow me over here, you have a walk-in closet, which is super nice. I confidently say I get in there, you definitely could have a full wardrobe in there with no issues at all. Winter and summer clothing, zero problem. And then you come to the bathroom. Additionally, it has the matching and cohesive features and finishes here, which is extremely luxurious.
We
We are here at my favorite amenity at the property, which is, of course, the pool. So surrounded by the pool, of course, is the awesome brick aesthetic, which I think is really beautiful and inviting. And then if you see behind me, we have the stone, which is very luxurious. And then you have the beautiful tile that is also very high-end as well, which is what you want out of a A-class property. Another thing that I love is all the sun chairs. So it's an inviting environment in which you'd want to stay here for a while and hang out. And then finally, what I love, of course, is all the shrubbery and trees. So it really feels like an oasis out here, which is great for the community. People feel like it's a friendly environment, they want to stay, and this is, of course, great for tenant retention. We are inside the gym here at the complex. As you can tell, this place is fully loaded. We've got Stairmasters, treadmills, ergometers, weights, bench, you name it, we have it. Over here, some more treadmills, a punching bag, and other machines. This place is fully loaded. So in the kitchen, as you see over here, we've got the dated appliances, you've got the dated countertops, so that will be totally transformed. You know, we're going to have this go to the gunmetal stainless steel look. All throughout, the flooring will look different. The paint scheme will be slightly different, but you get the idea that this clearly is not up to par for the market and what it's going to demand as this area turns over in the next couple of years. Look over here. We've got a nice washer and dryer setup over here. And then you have a pantry right here. So it really has everything you need, a very functional space, which is exciting. That's one of the first things I look at when I tour these properties is when you look at the square footage, not all square footage is created equally. So when I'm in this smaller unit, I can tell that it is very efficient, very effective, and a nice compact space. Come with me to the bedroom over here. You have a nice spacious bedroom. You could for sure fit a king or a queen with leisure. You've got a nice high walk-in closet. Another thing too is the ceiling height. So you don't feel claustrophobic in a unit like this. And this is precisely why we like to buy the newer vintage properties, because they were just constructed better. Come over here, you can see the bathroom. Similar to the kitchen in the finishes there. We've got the tile here, we've got the Formica countertops here, we've got the older and dated bathroom that will totally transform as we do the unit. My favorite part of the unit, of course, the balcony that overlooks the luxurious oasis-style pool. If you come out here with me, what I like about this also is you could have, not only could you hang out here, but you could put sort of an outdoor patio setup. When the weather's not as hot and humid, you could for sure hang out here and enjoy the nice weather. Thank you so much for touring 1001 Ross here today in Dallas with us. If you or maybe anyone you know might be looking to invest in an opportunity like this, please reach out to me. Have a great day.